Hello and welcome to Insomniac Productions, where we bring content for you in the late AM because we know you're still up. My name is Ryan, and today I'm doing the first review on the channel, an actual review. Most of the other videos that I have, obviously, are reactions and like first impressions. And I did, if you'll notice the title, I already did a sort of review, in quotations, of this BTS album, Love Yourself, Her, but it was more so a first impression. It wasn't actually a delving deeper into the, lyrics, instrumentals, and giving an actual sort of recommendation. So that's what this video is going to be. And since this is the first review, I should give some sort of idea of how the review is going to work. So there's two big things to keep in mind. One is the things that I go over when I review a song or an album, the three big things that I actually look at. And two is the rating system that I have. So first, the sort of three big things that I look at, one is the instrumentals. How good is the production value? Are the instrumentals well produced, or are they generic and poppy and they don't really do anything for me? Two are the lyrics. Is there anything more there than meets the eye? If not, are the lyrics serving their purpose? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? And then thirdly, I look at the execution, because sometimes you can have great lyrics, right? And you can have all sorts of great production, but the execution could be very poor, and because of that, it could bring it down. So I look at those three things. For the rating system, I have a 3-level rating system instead of numbers and things like that, because I feel like numbers can be taken a bit too harshly. They can be taken wrongly if even one off. If I say a 7 and you think it's an 8, that could have a whole lot of issues and people just get angry for no reason. One is no-go, which, as it sounds, don't listen to the album, or at least unless you're extremely curious about it, it's not really worth your time in my own opinion. Two is passable. Passable could come off as more insulting than good, but in reality it's an okay album. It's a good album, but it's not anything super spectacular. And the third rating is certified sleepless. Now that is thematic with my channel, obviously, Insomniac Productions, and what that means is that it is definitely worth a listen to, and it's worth losing sleep over. So if it gets that rating, that means I really enjoyed the album, enough so to where I was probably listening to it when I should be sleeping. Now, with that being out of the way, let's jump into the actual Love Yourself, Her album from BTS. So it starts off with sort of an urban R&B vibe with Serendipity. Now, the whole album it's not super long compared to certain other albums, but this album was, generally good sized, and what they do is they do a really good job of transitioning from R&B into rap and hip hop at the end. And so you have the first track, Serendipity. It's the shortest track, I believe, besides obviously the skit, and it has the heavy R&B, and it's a good way to open it up if anybody is into that style. It's different. It mostly is Jimin, if I remember correctly, and it's a unique sort of start, because beforehand you would expect maybe all the members to jump in. Production-wise, it's not the most unique song on the album. It's not super great. As I said, I'll talk about the instrumentals and the production, so that's really what I'm going to go through for all the tracks first. Going down, most of these tracks have some sort of unique, minute detail to them in the production that makes this a lot more interesting than their previous works. Pied Piper has smaller things with like the flute in the background, right? A synthetic flute in the back. And that's something that's unique and minute that makes me want to keep listening to the song. Mic Drop, they have some of this sort of like, it sounds more like a horror or terrifying sort of yell in the background that's like just in the back of your ears. And it's something small but noticeable, and again, it's another minute detail. If you look at previous records and previous examples of BTS, they didn't really have the super minute and extra details in their production that they have on this album. They didn't really have things outside of the generic sort of poppy sound. They had maybe some okay details, but it wasn't really in-depth. It didn't feel masterfully crafted, and this one feels a lot better. Is it perfect production? No. Is it something that I would sit there and give, the highest amount of award to? No, but I will say that compared to previous works, it's a major improvement. And, examples of this: Pied Piper, Mic Drop, Serendipity, Dimple / Illegal, I think that's what it is. Those tracks, for instance, have a lot of minute details, and I think that brings the album up. Even if there's execution issues, which I'll get to, the production is significantly better than in the past, and that's a huge leg up for BTS, and I think it's awesome for them, and it's awesome to see compared to the previous albums that they've had. Next is the lyrical content, and, at first I thought there wasn't going to be as much lyrical content. I mean, some of previous works that I saw, they were pretty straightforward. They were pretty, at least a couple of the songs that I heard, they were pretty straightforward. Now, BTS fans have told me that there are certain songs that I need to look deeper into, and in doing so, yes, they have been known to have deeper meaning, at least, themes and ideas in their music, if the lyrics themselves weren't super in depth. So I had to take a consideration with that as well. And looking at it, this album actually beat my expectations for what they could do lyrically. C was the hidden track on here. That was one that caught me off guard as well. It's a very personal and real track from them about their struggle to become successful like they are now. And I was caught off guard by that. Usually I see a lot of like poppier, sort of like upbeat performances by them, but this album had a lot more dark R&B, hip hop grit to it that I felt was really good for them. And it matched the production quality as well. So, lyrically and production wise, it was good. If I had to look at other lyrics, Pied Piper as one of them, talking to the fans, right? That's more of a direct thing to their supporters, right? Now, there wasn't super deep lyrics there as well, but it was definitely more of a nod and direct communication with the people that support them, which is different. Most of the time, again, generic poppy lyrics with a lot of artists out there. This was different. And that sort of theme goes through the entire album, right? A lot of it's about personal experiences, a lot of it's about personal heartbreak, maybe communicating with the fans, and that's a step up again from previous records and albums. And so again, along with the production, the lyrics have stepped up in being more personable, more relatable, and just better than previous times from this group, at least specifically. So that also made me really enjoy the album overall and made me enjoy the songs. Again, Serendipity, Pied Piper, Dimple, C, these are all tracks. These are some of my favorite tracks on the record. That again, personal lyrics. That's a bit repetitive, but you get my point. I'm trying to beat it across that they have improved vastly compared to their previous works. And finally, I'm going to go to the execution, because the execution is one of the biggest things when it comes to music. If you don't execute well, it doesn't matter if you have pretty good lyrics, it doesn't matter if the production's great. If you execute poorly, it takes away from how you enjoy the song. Somebody could have an amazing instrumental and amazing lyrics, but if you've seen those Facebook rappers or you've seen those SoundCloud rappers, their execution is so poor that you can't take the song seriously. So, how does BTS do on that mark? I think they do great. There's a couple of songs where maybe it sounds a bit emotional, a bit to me. Can't really give specific examples because it's just sort of sprinkled throughout the album at certain points. But it wasn't bad, even if they had a slight, execution problem. But that wasn't really a thing even on this album. Most of the execution, if not all, was really well done. If you look at Mic Drop, the rap line killed it, right? If you look at C, again, everybody killed it. Dimple / Elite Girl, I believe that's what it is. If I'm wrong again on the title track, I'm sorry. That again, everyone killed it. Go Go, everyone killed it. Most of these tracks have really good execution on them, along with an vastly improved production quality and better lyrics that are more relatable to their audience compared to before. So, all three things so far have been amazing. All three categories they've just nailed it. And for my first review here, right now I'm reaching the end of this real quick. Obviously, I did a lot of repetitiveness. Obviously, I did a lot of rambling and whatnot. But again, going through the three categories, production vastly improved, really well done on this album. Lyrical content, very relatable, very consumable by audiences. It's not super deep and metaphorical by any means, but it's definitely more than just some generic poppy stuff, which is what I've been looking for. And then thirdly, obviously, execution, really well done. The rappers have formed into great rappers in this group. The singers have definitely formed into wonderful singers with more mature voices. And BTS just won on all three levels on this album. I don't see too many flaws K-pop wise in that realm. There's not many flaws there. There's not many issues in my book. So I like it. Now, if I had to give it a rating now, back to the 3-level scale, is it a no-go, passable, or certified sleepless? I would 100% say certified sleepless. If you're a K-pop fan, you need to check this album out. And even if you're not super huge into BTS, if you like R&B or hip-hop in that K-pop realm, or even in general, you should totally check this out. If you're somebody who's never checked out K-pop before, this is a great starting album for you because of the R&B and hip-hop elements to it, because a lot of people like that style. And even if you're not huge on the Korean style at all, this is great. It's a great first album that happens to incorporate, vibes from America, vibes from Korea, and just mixes it so well together, and I think it's really well done. So that is what I give BTS's Love Yourself, Her, a certified sleepless. You need to check this album out if you haven't. If you've only heard part of it and turned it away, you need to listen to it all the way through because you'll probably like at least one song on this record, guaranteed. That does it for this review, though. I will try to improve on these reviews because obviously it's a bit rambly, it's a bit, not perfect yet, but I'll get an order down, I'll get an execution, I'll get a method out there that will help me do that. But I wanted to give an official review on this album, so that's what I did. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you agree with my opinion, right? But if you don't, let me know down below what you think. Is there things that I missed? Is there things I can improve on? Let me know because that's what I really want to do, and it's the direction I want to take this channel. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another late night review, and I hope that I see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
이 모든 건 우연이 아냐 그냥 나의 느낌으로 온 세상이 어제와는 달라 그냥 너의 기쁨으로 네가 날 불렀을 때 나는 너의 꽃으로 기다렸던 것처럼 우리 시리도록 펴 어쩌면